Hey people, welcome to another episode of Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing, how do you take God along with you in your journey? The journey of life is an interesting one. Each stage has its own unique challenges and responsibilities, and with God's help, Christians can move smoothly from one phase to another. Here's how God can accompany each stage of a Christian's life. The first stage, of course, is youth. This is when you learn who God is and what your responsibilities are in society. For example, Samuel developed faith while serving Eli in 1 Samuel chapter 3 verse 1, and he eventually replaced Eli as Israel's main priest, according to 1 Samuel chapter 3 verses 19 to 21. Also, even in exile, because of her upbringing with her adoptive father, Mordecai, Esther developed enough faith in God to summon the courage to stand before the Persian king in Esther chapter 5 verse 1. As the youth does this, keeping the word of God close to heart, they will succeed in both the secular and spiritual domains. As the author of Proverbs said, "Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man." Proverbs chapter 3 verses 3 to 4. The word will teach them to avoid doing crime and harming others, as the end of the chapter explains. Then there will come a time when they will get married, and they'll have to start living on their own. Their parents may be able to help with that, like Abraham did for Isaac in Genesis chapter 24 verses 1 to 9. But the key is to find someone who will help you continue your journey when you leave the nest. For example, Ruth wanted to continue to believe in her mother-in-law's God, but she naturally couldn't worship with Naomi forever. Thus, with Naomi's help, in Ruth chapter 3 verses 1 to 4, she began to woo Boaz, another child of God and a man who could support her in a country still recovering from famine. Back in Genesis 24, Isaac needed a wife who would help him raise a God-fearing family. Some of his successors would not be able to find one, like Moses, who would eventually divorce Zipporah in Exodus chapter 18 verse 2. Thus, Abraham made sure that he didn't marry a Canaanite woman, who could convince him to serve the gods of her relatives and the country they lived in. Instead, he asked his servant to bring a Mesopotamian woman to Canaan, so they would both be worshippers of gods foreign to their country. Finally, the time will come when you'll raise your own kids. This will require you to fully internalize God's words so you can pass them on to your children. Near the beginning of Israel's constitution we find, "And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up." Deuteronomy chapter 6 verses 6 to 7. The key to doing this is really just presence. How much time does one of you, or do both of you, have to really teach this stuff? Eli didn't have the time to raise his kids because of his priestly work, according to 1 Samuel chapter 3 verses 12 to 14, and neither did Samuel in 1 Samuel chapter 8 verses 1 to 3. Evidently, they either didn't have wives or their wives weren't able to pick up the slack. Thus, you and your spouse have to decide how to make your work with parenting so you can maximize the time you have with your kids. In the end, whatever stage you're in your journey, the Bible will serve as your GPS. It will show you the way, as the psalmist explained here. "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." Psalms chapter 119 verse 105. It will show you where to get food, according to Isaiah chapter 55 verse 1. "Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price." This is especially important now, as we are in a time of spiritual famine, according to Amos chapter 8 verses 11 to 12, where churches are closing and spirituality is declining. Thus, my advice is we check to see if we have enough food and fuel to keep us going on this spiritual journey. The author of Hebrews showed us that it's the only way we'll get to our destination. "For we are made partakers of Christ, if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end." Hebrews chapter 3 verse 14. So, are you ready to set off? And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A, where we discussed how a Christian takes God along with them in their journey according to their stage in life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!